Hi. A few weeks back, I had a very interesting conversation with my 17-year-old daughter, Anaya. You know, teenagers can be a bit of a pain, right? But this conversation was slightly hard hitting. She had some very concerned questions about the beauty industry, the nature, the environment. And it actually encouraged me to pick up the topic of responsible beauty on this excellent platform. So, whilst Anaya's curiosity has made her travel with me to the show, I am going to take this opportunity to invite Anaya on the stage and share some of her concerns with all of you today. Anaya, come on.
Thank you, Mom. I'm glad our conversation actually had the impact that it did. Just to give everyone an idea of how the conversation actually came about, with Vedic being a family business and one of India's leading contract manufacturers, I've had the first-hand exposure to how recent growth trends of e-commerce have actually changed the face of the industry in India. Now look, I'm a teenager. I don't like wasting my time. But it was actually quite productive for me to keep myself involved and visit the plant often. In line with the trend of increasing consumer consciousness, various brands have centered their proposition around the use of natural, sustainable, and vegan ingredients, referring to themselves as clean beauty brands. What's concerning is that even though the products may be safer for the skin, the amount of plastic waste that we generate from the production processes and the final output is alarming. So whilst the industries are benefiting from this boom in sales, it's nature that continues to suffer its dire consequences. At the end of the day, the beauty industry is responsible for creating to meet the increasing demand, which just implies that the more the demand, unfortunately, the more the waste. So, and as part of a generation that is set to face the ultimate repercussions for the deteriorating natural environment, I feel quite strongly about this cause. So reflecting on this clear need for change, I've done extensive research into whether the magnitude of the situation remains the same across the world and whether there are actually brands that are working towards solutions for such a grave problem. And I was actually horrified to find that it is the personal care and beauty industry alone that produces more than 120 billion units of plastic packaging every year. So if you consider every plastic bottle, shampoo, face wash, body wash, you might assume that because the bottle says it's recyclable, that the bottle itself is made of recycled material, or that once disposed, the bottle itself is recycled. But unfortunately, that is hardly ever true. Recyclable does not always mean recycled. So even though the brands may be offering better clean formulae and supposedly better packaging, the majority of the waste is still not being responsibly disposed of. Some practices are expected to improve. As we can see here, highlighted in light green, is the recycling practices are expected to improve from the 9% that we've seen in 2019 to an expected 17% in 2060. On the other hand, landfilling, even though it's worsening at a slower pace, it's expected to rise from the 49% in 2019 to a 50% in 2060. This report clearly indicates that even though industries are making an effort to be sustainable, it's better technology and newer innovations that are needed to lower the plastic intensity. This includes A, cutting down on plastic demand, B, encouraging consumers to reuse, and C, improving their waste management methods. Because all of these efforts go hand in hand when making an effort to curb such a grave problem. The big question here is, considering the impact all of this waste has on nature, what really is clean beauty and who exactly is responsible for it?
Thank you, Anaya. That's pretty hard-hitting facts. And just as Anaya was talking, and I looked around, and all my neighbors are plastic packaging companies. So I'm glad that we picked up the topic that we did. And I think the stage is very strategically placed. So great. Since Anaya left us with a question on what is clean beauty. So clean beauty, if we're all industry people here, is a common term referred to a clean formula. A formula or a product that's created without using any synthetic chemicals, any toxic ingredients, transparent labeling, largely implying that the label details mention the complete composition of the product, telling the customer, informing the customer what it contains so that an informed decision is made by the consumer. And of course, it's safe for humans. Safe for humans. But what about the nature? What about the environment? So can we really say that clean beauty can exist or can be achieved in a toxic environment? Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Sandhya Sakhuja. I am here from Vedic Cosmeceuticals Private Limited from India. My association with personal care industry has been close to 2 decades now. I started this journey as a merchandiser for personal care products with a very popular retail chain in India called Fab India. My sheer passion for the category of this business has led me to set up my own R&D facility and my own manufacturing unit. Proud to say we provide enhanced services and products to various brands across the country today. And I have also had the opportunity to be associated with many startup businesses in this category, and some of them have grown to be brands of great value today. I am here today to actually expand clean beauty a little bit more, to cover a more holistic ground than just product formula. I am here today to talk about or elevate clean beauty to responsible beauty. Responsible beauty, to me, entails not only the clean formula, but also an end-to-end delivery system, a clean delivery system, one that doesn't threaten the environment. Also, it is acceptable to the consumers. Such sustainable products and practices have to be acceptable by the consumer. It's a definition I actually coined myself because I need to cover the product, I need to cover packaging, and anything successful, but what we create is successful when the consumer actually accepts it and enjoys the product. So, my question to the audience is, who can impact achieving responsible beauty? Anyone? Sure, I can, but anyone else? Of course. Anyone? Sorry, absolutely correct. Brand owner, very well. The manufacturer. So, as industry stakeholders, the onus doesn't lie on any one of us in particular. It is all on us. It's we. It's we, the people of the industry, who are responsible for creating a good, responsible beauty platform. It begins with the formulator. Formulators could be the ones who are preparing the raw material. Obviously, what we put into the product has to be clean formula, something that is sustainable with nature. The manufacturer has to use clean practices, clean processes, so that minimum waste is created. Packaging. Packaging, I think, has a very, very key role to play, because according to statistics shared by Anaya, the plastic packaging is really killing the environment. And I am largely concerned about what goes into the landfills. It's going to take many, many, many years to actually get rid of that waste that we create. Brand owners, very, very well pointed out. Brand owners. Actually, brand owners have a very crucial role to play because not only do they decide the product that's going to reach the market, they have the whole strategy of inspiring, influencing, impacting the consumer behavior, the consumer acceptance. So even if the formulator has created something great and we've managed to get great packaging, it's the brands that help sensitize the customer. It's the brands that help to bring about the much needed consumer behavior change for acceptance. So I see brands play a very, very big role in this. Legislation, the laws, the rules, they set the boundaries for us. Then it's just an imposition. We just have to follow it. So the legislation has a very important role to play. Many examples of single-use plastic has been banned in India recently, and I learned that in Dubai now you have to pay for at the retail outlets for the carry bags. So that's a great habit to discourage using plastic bags. Slight shift in consumer behavior there can bring about big changes. I know I'm probably guilty of it myself, but if we can carry a shopping bag to grocery stores and reuse the bags, it's a great practice. Channel partners. Channel partners specifically could help incentivize brands that that follow such practices, that have options for sustainable products, that have that help the nature. I think with e-commerce becoming so popular, in my recent experience, I learned that the dot-coms require a shelf life of at least 3 years on the products. Now that's an irony. For formulators and creators of sustainable products like us, it puts us in a spot. Because the moment we give a 3-year shelf life, we're loading the product with preservatives. So it would be great if channel partners can be supportive. So I'm sure the brands will feel encouraged to bring such things onto the platform. The formulators and creators will be encouraged to gain from the incentives that they may be sharing. Logistic partners. Another, I think when most of us receive our parcels through the e-commerce at home, they're filled with packaging material that's sheer waste, and we all feel the pinch. I'm sure whoever's a little conscious about it will feel the pinch. Last but not the least, it's the consumer. The consumer, till the consumer, and we're all consumers. While we're all formulators, we're all manufacturers, we're all consumers too. So the consumer's sensitization, the consumer's acceptance is absolutely crucial. So it's not always that what we create with sustainable formulations and compatible packagings, that the user experience is great. Now that's where the consumer sensitization needs to happen. So they may need to walk a mile as well to actually accept what's great for nature. That is why I come back to brand and consumer acceptance. That if brands were to build it as a part of their communication strategy, because let's accept it, we're all so used to the digital world that convenience has become a very, very important aspect of our lives. Anything that's not ready to use and not at the click of a button, anything that's not ready to use and not at the click of a button poses. So coming back to the consumers, we have to start sensitizing them that a little bit of inconvenience borne by the consumer can help the nature and can help our future generation live a much better environment than what we're living. Now it's all easy to say. Everyone can say, okay, Sandhya, great. We hear you. We need responsible beauty. We need clean beauty. How are we going to achieve it? So how is it going to happen? Fortunately, in my years of retail experience, I had the opportunity to interact with consumers on the shop floor. It was good 10 years. So I had the opportunity to work as a brand person, understand the consumer psyche. And I had three very important learnings that I took away from that experience. There are three aspects that help impact consumer acceptance positively. Number one, experience. If, as creators, as formulators, we can improve the experience that we give to the customer, he's willing to make a change. But at the same time, like I said, if we need the customer to change the experience, to be able to handle the inconvenience a little bit, the strategy of the brands, the communication, can help with sensitizing the consumer. So consumer experience is absolutely crucial because, like I said, we're all so used to the click of a button for everything that convenience is absolutely important. Price advantage. There are options where we can give clean formula, and if we can give them at a better price, I'm sure we'll see a great impact and a better rate of response or better acceptance from the consumer. Consumers and we are always happy to take freebies. We like savings, better experience, better price. Another thing I realized was ease of access. Now, when a consumer makes a shift and likes something he's used, it suits his or her pocket, it must be easily available. It shouldn't be a case that he's liked something and he's really having to struggle to lay hands on it for the next time. So 3 points when we create a product and when brands are working on selling channels, we must bear in mind that, okay, right, my product is acceptable. How can I make it more easily available? So first point, when we're creating or working on a concept for responsible beauty, which will deliver end-to-end clean formula, clean packaging, we have to look at convenience, we have to look at price advantage, and we have to make sure that it's not something, for example, I'm sat in India, but the raw material is going to come from Argentina, so will I get it, not get it? So we've got to localize, we've got to see that we're able to bring it to the fore to the consumer. Persistence pays. My favorite one. We have to keep trying. The efforts have to keep going. I know I hear so much sustainability around, and I know some of the very big brands are doing great work on it. I've had the opportunity to meet someone very influential this morning from a very big brand, and I know that great work on sustainability is happening. It is slow-paced right now, but I am confident that if all the industry stakeholders keep their efforts up, we will see good results. Like I said, the onus of this is not on any one of us, but on each one of us. Let me give you an example here. Lab-grown meat, or what we are calling the mock meat, or the plant-based meat, has actually been around in the stores for 2 decades now. I remember seeing it first time in the UK in the year 2000, 1999 or 2000. And of course, it was like, really? How can beef taste like beef or chicken taste like chicken, not using meat? So it was something that seemed like work of science fiction, right? And it wasn't easily available. It was at very few limited stores. It didn't really have the industry or the consumer support that it needed. It was expensive, so the cost parameters didn't really help make it popular. But over the years, the awareness about livestock being such an issue on carbon footprint has changed the consumer perception on the product. There's a lot more consumer acceptance on plant-based meat, and it's a multi-million-dollar industry today. So clearly, industries have kept their efforts up. The food technologists have kept their complete trials going for them to come up with a good solution today. And veganism is really popular. Being vegetarian is being populated. So all these efforts have actually made mock meat, lab-grown meat, a multi-million-dollar industry today. And I see it across the world now. It's not just limited to Europe or to the Middle East, or it's very popular in India now. So persistence of constant effort of ensuring that we come up with something that's good and that's something that's great for the planet will help us get there. Another example for persistence is actually a theory and a strategy called the triple bottom line. It's a term coined by John Elkington in 1994, where he promotes that planet be your first priority. It actually entails 3P: planet, people, profits. So according to John Elkington, planet needs to replace profits in organization. If there is no planet, there are no people, and there is no profit. So with the vision that what we create under responsible beauty, what we propagate to consumers should be aligned with what's great for the planet. In a shortcut way, planets need to play a good role in the vision and mission statements for the corporates and the manufacturers and the formulators. Obviously, people, what we create for people should be safe for humans, human use. And last but not the least, we're all business people, we're all industry people. We know profits is what's going to help us grow the business and keep bringing great concepts back onto the shop floors. So with this, I'd like to end my presentation, but I would love to hear questions and your thoughts so that if there is anything that we can discuss post the event, I'm happy to hear you out. I'm available at stall number E27 in hall number 1, and we can share with you what we as Vedic are looking to do for responsible beauty, and would be great to have your thoughts. So any questions or any thoughts from the audience on any ideas that you may have that we could work on collectively?
Thank you, Sandhya. What exactly is Vedic doing to resolve this challenge?
We're very fortunate to have a great R&D setup, and we have actually worked on some formulations where we've realized that if we remove water as a component from the formula, then we can make products that will require lesser preservative. That's one, clean formula. Products that will not need plastic packaging for logistics, reduces the freight because there is no plastic involved and water involved, so there's lesser weight. So, which is why I said that to learn more, we'll be happy to talk to you at the stall and probably share some concepts. We're not there yet fully, but we've got alternates that we're constantly putting our efforts on for the industry. Thank you very much, everyone. Great.